Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Oklahoma Venture Forum podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Golding. I'm joined today by Rachel Brown from Titan Intake, a startup that will be part of our Tulsa Pitch Day in March. Good to see you today, Rachel.
Likewise, excited to be here.
So, Rachel, tell everyone quickly what Titan Intake is, what it is that it does. It is a automation for patient intake. So some people would understand what that means, some people won't. So tell us what Titan Intake is and does.
Absolutely. So we work with specialty clinics to automate this referral intake process. And if you asked me several years ago, I wouldn't really know what this process was. But as soon as I heard it, I knew it. What happens today is if you have a pain in your knee, you go to your primary care physician and they're like, I want to refer you to a specialist. I'm going to refer you. So you go home and you just wait to hear from somebody. And then you go home and you sit and you wait with pain in your knee for however long until you get a call from some unknown number and it happens to be someone to book an appointment for you. What's happening in the background of that process is that your primary care physician has probably faxed over, yes, still faxed over your entire medical record to one or several specialty clinics that they trust in your area. And then on the receiving end, they have a dedicated team that just receives these faxes and reads through them and types over all of that information into their medical record system, because none of the systems talk to each other. They don't play nice, right? And that's why...
Why wouldn't they, right?
Why would they, right? Just to make our lives harder. But that's where Titan steps in. We remove that manual process. We essentially suck up that fax that comes into the specialty clinic. Our AI reads that document the same way their teams would, extracts the 5% of information they actually care about, and allows you as the patient to receive an automatic text from Titan on your way home from that primary care appointment just saying, hey, you're in great hands. Orthopedic so-and-so has received your referral, expect a call. And then to hear from your provider sooner and be able to make that appointment.
So it makes perfect sense to a person who's not in the medical field to think, yes, that's how that thing should operate. Mm-hmm. But then I hear that there's fax machines still being involved. I understand that has something to do with HIPAA. So I'm assuming everything you're doing is completely and 100% HIPAA compliant as well.
Of course.
But ultimately, there's great benefit to the consumer, to the patient, which we don't always have when it comes to medical services. We're often at the mercy of our physician or the referring specialty clinic as to how they want to handle this process.
Yeah, I often call the patient experience just being in a black hole of information. And my story, Kyle, of why I joined this team, I met my co-founders, Patrick and Jonathan, back in the fall of 2021 in one of our MBA classes at Oklahoma State University. And they tell me about this problem. And again, I realized I connected to it because in 2020, my stepdad had been diagnosed with cancer and unfortunately passed later that year. But the first month was mostly us just sitting and waiting on those phone calls from, his records going from primary care to the imaging center, and then the imaging center back to the primary care, and the primary care to the oncologist. And that ended up being a month of what turned out to be the last 7 of his life. And I knew I had to be part of creating a better solution to get patients the care they needed sooner.
So I think everyone probably has a frustration story like that, but you have stepped up, Titan Intake has stepped up to kind of manage this process and help it along. What is the reception from the medical community? Are they excited about this because they understand the frustration? Are they hesitant? Are they thinking about cost, et cetera? What are the hurdles you've run into and how are you overcoming them?
Of course. Generally, we're met with quite a bit of excitement. People are used to, well, this is just the way it is. We just resign ourselves to fax because no one gives a solution that really works for us. And so when we come in saying, hey, fax is the bane of your existence, and they say yes, and we say we solve that, they're generally pretty excited to hear what we have to say, and knowing that we don't have to change the behavior for their sending provider, which is, competitors in the past have, signed up for our system, but that there's no level of adoption that they need to actually be able to capture 100% of those referrals, whereas Titan does. So There's a lot of excitement around that. Of course, cost is a concern, but we've developed a really exciting return on investment with our product for our customers. That's, of course, time saved at the front desk, certainly, but also through the automated communication features. And we provide them with tons of operational insights and data that, unfortunately, most of these clinics just don't have. I mean, as a business, you want to know everything about your referral or your revenue pipeline, which is what referrals are for them. And they just don't have information unless someone is keeping track on a sticky note or an Excel spreadsheet. They just don't know. So there's other revenue driving elements of their ROI for these clinics that they get excited about as well.
So you mentioned you have two co-founders that you met and had a discussion about this. So give us a brief introduction to your two co-founders and give us that first conversation where you said, the three of you said, hey, we can do something about this.
Absolutely. Our story, it's a lot of fun. So Jonathan Vasquez is our COO, and we call him the godfather of Titan Intake. He spent a decade working at McKesson, which is the largest healthcare company in the world. And he spent those 10 years inside clinics, helping onboard them to the McKesson tool suite of software products, and saw this problem over and over again from Florida to Nevada to New York and everywhere in between. So he had kind of had this idea for some time and actually moved to Tulsa through the Tulsa Remote program, got plugged in with our community there, which, again, such an awesome entrepreneurial ecosystem that we have in Tulsa, got plugged in, and through a few introductions, they were like, you need to meet this guy, Patrick Bruce. I think you guys would connect well. So then he meets Patrick, our future Titan CEO, and they basically have an aha bromance, as I say, where they just totally clicked. And Patrick's background, he worked in healthcare IT for some time, so he was super in-depth familiar with this. And even just across his life, watching his dad, who's a urologist, struggle with this problem. I mean, he's shooting atoms into people's body to cure cancer and then walking to a fax machine afterwards, which is just bananas, the juxtaposition there. So they really connected. Patrick had the technical know-how. Jonathan was the industry expert. They actually took this idea through the National Science Foundation and then entered this into one of Patrick's final MBA classes where they met me. And I kind of became the missing communication wizard piece. I had previously been a solopreneur throughout undergrad and grad school with a more business to consumer app that would help people with their mental health and physical well-being. And I had worked on this by myself without technical experience, made a prototype app. So I'd done a lot of the pre-launch startup activities and got to meet them. And again, with my story, I connected so much to what they were doing. And we built a lot of trust really quickly and started working together. And the rest has been history.
So how and when did you take this idea and make it a real product and a real business and put it into the market?
Yeah, so we met kind of in a class setting. So this was like a project in a class, and we were doing tons of market research. We interviewed over 100 potential customers and really did our homework. Even with Patrick and Jonathan's 25 plus years of industry experience, we still wanted to make sure this was a valid idea for a great market that needed a solution like this. So we talked to tons of folks, did a lot of research. We started doing pitch competitions to try and raise some early non-dilutive funding. We participated in the Loves Cup, an awesome Oklahoma institute, just getting to pitch in front of
folks at I2E for that.
Oh yes, we love getting to participate with them and work with them closely, even from that early stage. So we got some early capital, and really, again, we established the business just formally on paper in that spring of 2022, and then started committing our first lines of code later that year in August, started building our team, and again, started building the product in August of 2022. We had our first user in November over at Stillwater Medical Center. They've been an awesome partner. Again, that's my hometown, so I love getting to see the clinics that I grew up going to and being around starting to use Titan Intake. They converted to a customer in February of 2023.
So you had your first customer, which was helping you really develop your MVP into this real functioning.
Definitely. We love talking with.
Would you describe it as a product or is it a service? Is it a software as a service?
Yes, we're a SaaS product, absolutely. So we are a platform just that they can log into on any web browser and start getting value from.
Excellent. So now you're coming to OVF in March as part of our Tulsa Pitch Day. That's our third meeting in Tulsa for the 2023-2024 session. We're super excited to have a pitch day in Tulsa that's going to include Titan Intake. That day, in the 5 minutes you have to pitch, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to let folks know in the room about what it is that you're looking for as an entity moving forward with whether it's an investment, collaboration, etc.?
Absolutely. So, I mean, we're excited to share our story and just the impact that we get to have on both healthcare providers and their patients, telling that story. But our ask at the end of the day, as we walk into this event, is, of course, investment. We're in the middle of a pre-seed seed raise as of recording today in January. So we're really looking forward to making more connections in our ecosystem, but also just to potential customers, distribution networks in healthcare. We're always open to those kinds of warm introductions and look forward to seeing what connections we can make with OVF.
So you are seed, but you're generating revenue.
Yes, yeah, we don't quite fit the total mold that we see across the ecosystem, but we had an amazing group come in for a family and friends round and worked with I2E getting a great loan through their economic development program. And so we made not a lot of money go quite a long ways in getting to the stage that we're at with revenue, with a great team, great customers. And so we have that Oklahoma grit, I would say, to hustle our way a long way on a little. So now we got to kind of skip a couple stages and work our way to more of a seed raise now.
That happens sometimes in business, though, right? Sometimes you just take a hold of the opportunity. And you guys have done everything right. You identified a problem that needed to be solved, identified a way to do it. You put together a team with tremendous amount of experience and relationships in the industry. You found a novel way to solve that problem. Now you're proving it out from MVP through actual paying customers. You're generating revenue. It sounds like everything is lined up for someone who maybe will hear this pitch in March and want to participate with you in the future.
We certainly hope so.
So make sure that you are in the room, March 13th, 2024, 36 Degrees North Base Camp, the original for 36 Degrees North for those of you who know Tulsa. Those of you who don't, make sure you go. This will be our third meeting in Tulsa for this session. We've had great turnout and great time being statewide, not just in Oklahoma City, but in Tulsa as well. So make sure that you're in the room March 13th to hear about Titan Intake, and there'll be a couple of other pitch presentations that day as well. Obviously, meet Rachel and the rest of her team and get to ask those questions maybe that they want to ask, more directly as opposed to in the room. But I think it's going to be a great presentation, a great day, and OVF's presence in Tulsa has been well received, and we're excited about working with great Tulsa startups like Titan Intake. So appreciate your time today, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kyle.
Thanks for being on the podcast.
Of course.